Just listen to that for a second. I was watching my business burn to the ground live, and I was just screaming, crying. I mean, that is the raw sound of someone watching their whole world just vanish. And they're not even there. They're watching it on their phone. It's this incredibly modern kind of tragedy, and that's really at the heart of what we're going to talk about today. So yeah, let's get right into it. We're talking about this massive, devastating fire that ripped through Glasgow's Union Street, right smack next to Central Station. We're going to look at how it all kicked off, this really unique modern horror for the business owners who literally watched it happen online, and then the amazing community response that just rose up from the ashes. All right, so let's really paint a picture here. This wasn't just, a small fire. We are talking about an absolute inferno, something that literally brought a huge part of a major city center to a complete standstill. So picture this. It's late afternoon on Union Street. It all starts in a vape shop, and what began as maybe just a bit of smoke, well, it just exploded. The flames literally ripped through everything, shops, salons, offices, with just terrifying speed. It's pretty scary, right? How quickly a street you walk down every day can just become a disaster zone. But, the fire itself, that's really only half the story here. The truly, 21st century part of this whole tragedy is how people experienced it. For those who lost absolutely everything, the horror wasn't something they saw in person. It unfolded right there on their social media feeds. I mean, just take Sam's story, for example. She had literally just left her business, maybe 15, 30 minutes before the whole thing started, and the next thing she knows, she's watching it burn to the ground on a TikTok live stream. Can you even imagine the absolute surreal horror of that moment? Just helplessly scrolling while your entire life's work goes up in smoke. And that's the really bizarre thing about all this, isn't it? There's this strange disconnect when you're watching a disaster on your phone. It's like it doesn't feel completely real, but at the same time, the pain is just absolutely gut-wrenching. It's like a whole new kind of trauma, one born out of our digital age. And you can just feel that agonizing journey from hope to total despair in this next story. So Karina, a salon owner, at first she thought, okay, maybe my place will be okay. She's watching video clips, hoping, praying the firefighters can get it under control. And then she just had to watch as it spread and spread until the entire building just collapsed. But, watching it on a screen, that experience has its limits. For the folks from the Transcendental Meditation Center, that final crushing reality, it didn't really sink in until they saw the wreckage with their own eyes. That's the moment when the pixels on their phones became this undeniable, heartbreaking truth. The building and everything inside it was just gone. But right in the middle of all that shock and heartbreak, something pretty remarkable started to happen. And this is where the story really pivots, It goes from being about destruction to being about this overwhelming wave of support as the people of Glasgow just started to rally together. And this right here, this is really the heart of the story. It's like a tale of two halves, isn't it? You've got the absolute devastation of the fire on one side, and then the incredible, powerful response from the community on the other. I mean, it's a perfect example of what resilience looks like when a disaster hits. And we're not just talking about nice comments online either. This was real, practical support. I mean, GoFundMe pages popped up almost immediately. Other businesses were offering up temporary spaces for people to work. Brands started reaching out, wanting to donate new stock and equipment. It was this tangible, citywide effort to help people get back on their feet. And Sam, remember her, the business owner who watched the whole thing on TikTok? She was just completely blown away by the kindness. The fact that huge brands were getting in touch just goes to show how far and how wide that message of support really went. And it wasn't just big brands either. This was about local solidarity, People helping their own. You had fellow salon owners like Tammy who didn't just say, hey, you can use a chair in my space. No, she became like a coordinator, connecting people who'd lost their spots with other salons that had room. A real grassroots network of support just sprang into action almost overnight. Okay, but the impact of this fire, it rippled out way beyond the businesses that were destroyed. The blaze created this massive logistical nightmare for the entire city of Glasgow. Because you have to remember, this wasn't just any old street. Union Street runs right alongside Glasgow Central, which is one of the busiest train stations in all of Scotland. So with the fire and the very real risk of these damaged buildings collapsing, the entire area had to be cordoned off. And that just paralyzed a key artery of the city's whole transport network. And the result of that?
Well, it was total paralysis for the city's transport system. All trains, every single one, to and from Glasgow Central were suspended. The station itself was closed for days. For thousands and thousands of people, the city just ground to a halt. It caused chaos that honestly rippled out across the entire country.
So yeah, the sense of loss was felt on every single level. This quote from a city official really captures that heartbreak, of seeing such an iconic part of Glasgow just destroyed. It wasn't just about the buildings. It felt like a piece of the city's identity was gone. The focus right away had to turn to making the area safe and beginning that long, long process of recovery. So, what's the takeaway here? I mean, when a city's heart gets broken like this, how does it even start to heal? The Glasgow fire was, without a doubt, a story of terrible destruction, and it was amplified in this very modern way through technology. But it was also a story of incredible human connection and resilience. And maybe that's the powerful reminder here, that while buildings can fall, the spirit of a community can and will rise up to put the pieces back together again.